Hi, welcome. I am Sari Kimball. I am the creator of Food Business Success, and I help people start profitable and fun packaged food businesses. So, we are talking all things formula and recipes and scaling up. Because here's the thing, we can't just take a home recipe and then think it's just going to magically work in a commercial kitchen situation. So, I want to help prepare you for what to expect and kind of help manage your expectations. This topic was inspired because I had a client out where I live last week, and we were working on commercializing her product, and it was a challenge. It was rough. It was a hard couple days, but we got through it, and ultimately we have great product. But it was an investment. It was an investment of time and money, and so I just was thinking about everyone out there trying to do this and thought, like, I need to tell you guys about some of the tips and tricks and things that you need to be prepared for and how you can make it faster, easier, and also just kind of manage yourself through it. Um, so you have something you make in your home kitchen. It's delicious. You decide to start a packaged food business. And whether you are doing cottage food or you are doing a fully licensed business in a commercial kitchen, super important that you are scaling up. The only way that we can be profitable is if we take that home recipe and we scale it up to much larger production. So even if you're doing cottage food, what's the biggest batch that you can make so that you can be as efficient as possible? That is where we start to make more money. Okay, so welcome everybody that's joining. So fun to see you on here. Uh, so first thing is we want to take that home recipe and we want to change it into a formula. And I have some other videos on this around your cost of goods sold. So go look up some other videos around that. But I'll just kind of do a recap here. You want to take your home recipe, if it's in tablespoons and teaspoons and cups, you need to turn everything, liquids included, into grams or ounces. I recommend grams, especially if you have a small batch recipe. Go ahead and use grams. Once you scale up to like huge batches, we can always convert it to kilograms or ounces. But this makes it way more precise for one. So you're going to get better consistency. And it's also going to be so much faster to scale up. Like once you have that recipe dialed in at a large scale level, then you can easily just, double it, 10 times it, 100 times it once you know it works. So much easier, so much faster, so much more consistent. So you got to do that. You need to get a good kitchen scale, one that has at least a decimal point, if not two, because you want to be really accurate with that. Now, sometimes it's really challenging, especially if you have a small recipe, like let's just say a home muffin recipe. Um, baking powder or salt, it's going to be really, really light. So some ways you can do that is like looking on the nutrition facts panel, and it might give you some information there as far as the weight of like a quarter teaspoon. The other thing I would do is like measure out, like, let's say you only have a eighth of a teaspoon of something. Well, measure out a full tablespoon of it, see what that weighs, and then extrapolate backwards, right? So hopefully that helps. All right. The other thing I want you to do as you're looking at, especially if you're going into a commercial kitchen, but even for home production, try to start working with commercial sized ingredients. Look online. Webstaurant is a good option. You might be able to find some restaurant supply stores in your area. We have one here in Colorado called Shamrock that they're open to the public and they sell like wholesale that they would do for restaurants. Sometimes you can do, if you call like Cisco or US Foods and some of those distributors, you can do will call and go ahead and pick up right on site. So you're going to be too small, most likely to deliver, but you usually can pick up. You could even look on Amazon. There's other, like just searching wholesale or commercial size, things like that. You want to work with these ingredients because they're going to be better for your bottom line, usually, generally speaking, but they may be a little bit different, right? Because you're buying in this bulk. And so you want to just be sure that you're testing your recipe with these commercial ingredients because you do want to use these kind of ingredients as you scale and grow your business. So you might as well start now. Um, and as you scale it up, just know that, those commercial ingredients may behave a little differently. They may taste a little differently. So practice, try them out. So at home, first you want to scale it up to the largest batch size that you absolutely can at home, right? So if you're in a KitchenAid mixer, like make the biggest batch you can. If you're making salsa, like do a big I recommend like even getting a 5-gallon bucket from Home Depot or Webs like a wholesale place that you can walk into. Get like something that you can go pretty big with because you got to be able to test it. Um, and hopefully you can, enjoy the product, give away the product, get feedback. But something I'm going to talk about probably more than once here is that just expect that you are going to have some waste. You're going to throw product away or you're going to eat it. Like, but you're going to have trials and errors, right? You're going to have fails. You're going to have so much product you can't possibly eat that much salsa. It doesn't matter. This is part of owning a packaged food business. You've got to get that formula scaled up. And so just know that this is part of the investment, part of the cost. Try to give it away, try to, make do with it. But I've had people, they're testing their oven times and they're in a commercial kitchen and now we're using commercial mixers and we're using commercial ovens and things get burned, things just don't turn out the right way. So you're going to have product that you're going to throw away. Just go into it with that expectation and then you don't make it a failure. It's just not a big deal. It's part of the process. Um, and especially if you are going with a co-packer, you will definitely be throwing product away. So again, just know this going in. Don't make it mean anything. Put on your scientist lab coat. If you've perfected this recipe on a small scale, you know that there was some error. There were, sometimes it didn't work out so great. So again, just don't take anything personally. It's not a problem. Just be prepared to throw some product away. All right. Thinking like a scientist, keeping our lab coat on, you're going to want to take some careful notes. You want to really document, did you follow that recipe exactly? Know what the process is. So really have that documented. First of all, if you ever bring in somebody else to make your product with you or for you, you want to have a really detailed process. You want to say what comes first, second, third, what exactly you do with it. Take photos once you get it dialed in so that we know it's supposed to be this chunky or it's the dough is supposed to look like this or this is how brown they can get, right? And we need to provide like a range if you're baking something. So take careful notes. And then as you need to adjust things, change one thing at a time. We're going to go back to our high school science, right? Our class where we did experiments and you just change one variable at a time to get to your answer. But if you change too many things, you're not going to know what worked and what didn't. So change one thing at a time and then adjust, right? And you're just going to test, test, test. I have a client inside Food Business Success who is a baker and she makes a ton of products. I mean, French baker, amazing stuff. But she went from cottage food into a commercial kitchen and she had to rework every single one of her recipes to make sure it worked inside, 50-gallon mixer and huge commercial ovens. I mean, rotating rack ovens can be really different than a home oven. Same with the big commercial ones. So it took a lot of time and it took, money and investment to go through all of that and try all of those products. But she adjusted her recipes and now she knows that they work in that kitchen. Keep in mind, especially with baking, you're gonna have altitude issues, right? So if depending like if you are coming I've had clients that come from a low altitude and then they come and work with me in Colorado and now we're dealing with high altitude, right? So it can really change things. So understand that piece of it, understand that ovens work differently. And even like wherever you're at, like humidity can be a really big deal. So understand like there is a science to this. And I just wish that recipes scaled up one for one. I wish we could just multiply, like we do it all in our weights and we got it all dialed in and then we just multiply by 10 and it all works out and it doesn't. And that was actually what was happening last week with my client is she had a formula that a food scientist had created for her and they said, yeah, it just multiplies out, right? And in theory, that all sounds good. And in my gut, I was like, probably not, but okay, we'll go with it. And, yeah, we probably threw away I think she threw away like 5 batches. So, because it just doesn't work that way. I don't know what laws of physics are happening, but that's why I say try the largest batch size you can at home, see how it goes. And then, anytime we're doing like a sauce, we want to go from like a 5-gallon, if you can at home, to like a 20-gallon, a 40-gallon. And then, sometimes you're going up 75 gallons and then larger and larger. So it is very common that when you're in a co-packing situation, you're going to start small and then keep scaling up incrementally because, again, it just doesn't work like a one for one. I don't know why. I don't know what laws of the universe make that so, but it has been my experience over and over and over again. And I guess the one thing I will leave you with is that I I don't know why that happens. I wish it wasn't the case. I wish it all would work out nice and cleanly, but it just won't. And so I want you to go in expecting that and not having expectations that it's just going to work out magically on the first try. Just know you're gonna spend time on this. It's gonna take longer than you think. It's gonna cost more money than you think. Just be prepared for this. This is one of those pitfalls I just see over and over again, and it just deflates people so much, and they take a step back and really question why they're doing this and all like, it brings up all of these things instead of just saying, I expect this. This is part of the process. Yep. I'm going to waste some things. This is a whole new level, right? Just because I perfected it at home in my small batch doesn't mean it's going to scale up perfectly. So that's just the one thing I can leave you with. Just manage your expectations. Expect it to fail and that's just part of the process. And you will get there. Like it always is a slump and you're going to be like, "Oh my gosh, it's not working." And then it will, right? But you got to keep trying. And I don't know how many times it's going to take, but you got to just keep trying. Like commit ahead of time that you're not going to give up and you're going to figure it out and then just keep trying, keep trying. Sometimes you have to work with a food scientist to help you with stabilization or other things in, even life extension or um, I'm trying to think acidity and things like that. So, oftentimes you don't, but sometimes you do need to work with a food scientist. And I have some great folks that I work with if you ever need recommendations. All right. That was so good. I hope that was really helpful. This is a really good video to watch as you are taking that product to market. You're figuring all this good stuff out. If you want more help with that, if you want the how to and my guidance, work with me inside Food Business Success. We have monthly group coaching calls. We have VIP calls. We have all of this cool stuff where you can ask me your questions directly and then you also get access to all of my amazing resources and tools and education. And it's just a really good time. Like it can be really lonely starting a packaged food business on your own. And you can be kind of in a vacuum, right? Things aren't working on your recipe and you're like, I'm stuck. I don't know what to do. And that's where I help. That's what I do. So I would love for you to come join me inside Food Business Success. The links will be in the description below. It's foodbizsuccess.com. Just apply and then come join me. And it's a low monthly fee, it's a membership. You can join whenever you want, you can cancel whenever you want. I just want to help you on your journey and make it more fun, make it easier, make it faster, and help you achieve your dream and do it legally and profitably. All those things. All right, you guys, thanks so much for watching. I hope you have an amazing rest of your day.